Is there a way to track that in any of the appointments? I mean, I talked to a lady, she's standing there in the kennel areas with me. I'm getting rid of this dog I got the other day, cause I just can't make it do anything. Well, that's kinda on you, not the dog. So she had an appointment to surrender the next day, and she's there to adopt that day. So I didn't know if there's a,
Once the front desk staff would have processed her for the adoption that she would not have been approved for, once they pulled up her record, they would have seen that she is adopted Boink and got into a conversation with her about Beagle, how's
Right.
he doing, how's Boink doing.
but there's not a, we see you have a surrender
Correct.
appointment scheduled somewhere.
No, but
Correct.
in
And then
the
they-
animals, or, the person, each
Yeah.
person has their own individual number, and that comes up with any information, any, previous adoptions, any surrenders, we can flag on there if we do not think they're eligible to adopt an animal for whatever
Cause I
reason.
know whatever happened, that dog didn't leave with her, but that was thankful. I just didn't know if there was a crossing way to make that surrender appointment match up, so that when that person comes, it goes, oh, well, we see you have a surrender appointment, let's get that past you first before you think about adopting again. Just didn't know if that was there. Also on the foster to adopt program, which hopefully is gonna start fading as we have more neutered and spayed dogs, are they still considered owned by Guilford County? So if they show up at another shelter, what's supposed to happen to them?
They're supposed to come back to us.
Who's supposed to come back to, how is that supposed?
Animal control hooks up with their animal control and
And they're supposed to, because I know that's not happened a couple of times, just, I know. So I'll leave it at that, that there are dogs that are currently at other shelters that, when they said that they reached out, they were told, deal with it. So that's just all I was told. Then in response to the animal cruelty stuff, I remember one of the meetings months ago, you had mentioned that there were cases that the DA is not prosecuting. Is there a way to put pressure? How can we as a community start putting pressure on them? And we don't obviously get reports like we would if it was a shooting out in the neighborhood and you would know about it and you could go and say, you know, hey, I know these people need to do something. How are we gonna know to be able to put pressure to say, don't let these people walk, you cut a deal with them, they turned their animals in and they turned around and walked away, and that just doesn't seem right that they can do that. So-
Lisa was.
Yeah, that's something that we're working with the county attorney, Mr. Payne. All of our cruelty cases are being run through him at this time to make sure that they all are ready to go to court when we need to. We also have cruelty cases that we're working in conjunction with the county sheriff's department, and Mr. Payne is also in contact with their attorney. So it's becoming a joint effort in addition to additional training for our officers. So it's gonna be a more concentrated effort you're gonna see. So when we actually go to court, we're gonna have an airtight case to take to court.
Because, as a community, I'm sure we would love to be able to say to the elected folks
Sure.
that have to depend on that, hey, if you're not interested in prosecuting the people who are hurting our animals, we're not interested in supporting you for election.
Part of that is information and getting out and
Mhm.
So that's what I say, how do we get that info?
the community knowing who the individuals responsible for taking those charges are. So there was a very well-documented case here in Guilford County just a couple of years ago that I don't need to go into specifics because everybody in this room knows what I'm talking about, where law enforcement said there was enough evidence to take the case to trial. The case was not taken to trial. Law enforcement cannot.
I know, that's what I said, how do we find out
Just
so that
keep
we can put the
That's
pressure?
a civics class, and
I
I
mean-
have to be smart, that is a understanding who is responsible for what, part of our government, and who is responsible for bringing that charge before, the court system. And that answer is, if the evidence is there from law enforcement, that answer is the district attorney's office.
But we don't know who, that's what I'm saying, we as the community don't have any way of knowing who's been charged with something and when a case is being brought to the district attorney. And is there a way for us to know so that we can email and letter write and start calling the office and say, look, don't let this scumbag walk away. It just, we don't, you don't occasionally might get something in the newspaper, but that's it. And I quit my newspaper, so.
Well, in trial, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. So to release that type of information prior to someone being charged or at the
But
time
no,
of
I'm saying
charge,
if they're charged.
if they're
But
charged,
we don't know.
but there's
We-
not a database where you can just go on and find that information.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. How is there a way that, you can know when someone has done something horrific and they're out there in the community because that's public information. When someone's arrested, that's public information.
That's
You can look it up right now in the jail systems.
That's correct.
But you can't force, say, an animal cruelty charge. You can't look that up so that you can put the pressure on the people who have the decision-making to say, I'm not taking this to trial. I don't feel
Well,
like messing with it.
I know, and you have to understand when it comes to cases like that sometimes, it may be in conjunction with other charges.
Mhm. I know one right
Therefore,
now.
a lot of the animal charges may be, dismissed or reduced to have a plea agreement for a different charge, for a higher charge. So a lot of times, you're not gonna know that information. One of the cases we have going right now with the sheriff's department, a person has been charged criminally with, animal cruelty.
And John.
Haven't been found her, there's a bench warrant out. At this point in time, no one's gonna find her name out until, she's formally arraigned. And then what we intend to do after that is to pursue civil charges against her as well.
So it just,
It's
it's
just
like,
a way, yeah, it's just
there
until,
just seems to be this desire to get the animals to court, but then they hit that, like you were saying, situation where no one will take them to court.
well, that's why we're trying to change that right now. And so it's a very, countywide effort between animal control, law enforcement, and the county attorney's office to make sure that everything that we do take to court is gonna go to court and stick in court.
But again, there's where the thing is, where you said, you take to court. You don't get that decision-making though, if it
That's
goes to
what-
the district attorney's
So
office,
I would
so.
just answer this, and again, you guys can talk offline if you want. But I don't think there's any reason in the world that people that are passionate about animal cruelty cases should not be proactive in contacting the district attorney's office and letting them know that they believe that those crimes should be prosecuted to the fullest extent. You don't need a specific case to make that happen. There is no reason that you can't send an email, a letter, and say that as a voting member of the public or a taxpayer, you believe that these cases should be treated as strongly as any other cases that might come before them. And you ought to be, because ultimately, those are the people who are responsible
Oh,
for
I know.
bringing these cases to
Oh,
the
trust
court
me,
system.
I was begging people to run against Doug Morrison, so trust me.
Yeah.
And then the last question, or the last comment was, I wanna end this on something positive, that as a rescuer, I wanna say thank you. We have been receiving so much more communication from the shelter. We've had dogs offered out, we've had opportunities to come and meet and greet and take animals, and immediate reach out when situations have come in, and it's been wonderful that, a sudden influx of surrender cases because of a cruelty situation or any hoarding, and now they're coming and saying, hey, can you help us? And it's been wonderful, thank y'all. That's been very nice to be able to say, yeah, sure, what do you need? Tell us what you need and we'll do it for you. So, okay.
Thank you.